I'm Dr. Kirby Thompson, licensed naturopathic doctor, owner and operator of Wildflower Wellness. And today we're going to be talking about emotions. Our Dr. Kirby's pick is emotions. There are a lot of emotions, and a lot of people hang on to these long term, and they go deep, deep, deep within the body. Emotions are neurohormonal regulators. They can cause cascades of chemicals that can affect your body in both the short and long term, acute and chronic. Giovanni Maciosa, in one of the sections of the book, this talks about overwork in the same section as emotions, because it can cause problems along the same lines. A lot of times when we overwork, we have a lot of anxiety, resentment. Some people have some bitterness too, because they've had to overwork a long time. Some people 2 or 3 jobs. Some people just go, 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 go. That's overwork too. But that's a discussion for a little bit. No matter how you cut it, these are all stresses, right? So I found this article. I want to read this to you, please. Where the term stress has been used, investigators in this work have generally meant it to include acute situations, giving rise to marked change of effect. The roster of changes is quite impressive, but many of them are non-specific or are at present related with difficulty to the activity of the nervous system. This is true for serum cholesterol, which is said to be elevated under both acute and chronic conditions of psychological stress. It is also the case with the reported change in blood glutathione concentration and in hippuric acid tests. So, stress in the form of emotion can stimulate cholesterol changes, increasing that, and it can change blood glutathione concentration. Now, ladies and gentlemen, glutathione is the body's most powerful endogenous antioxidant. That means it's used to help your body fight off that oxidation that happens in inflammation. It is extremely important, and if people are very emotional, internalizing emotion, even bitterness, stress, or overwork, these levels can plummet. This will leave you open immunologically, right, your immune system, to problems. Okay, the article goes on, and as we all know, the stress and emotions can really affect not only cholesterol, not only glutathione and immune system, but it can also affect glucose, increasing that because it increases cortisol. What does cortisol do? Cortisol shunts sugar into the bloodstream, which signals insulin, eventually leading to, well, taking a part in insulin resistance, right? Stress, as some of you know that are probably watching, can lead to high blood pressure and other cardiovascular disturbances, and also neurological degeneration at end stage that can even trigger an immunocascade that can lead to Alzheimer's and dementia. It is so very important to confront these emotions and realize that they don't control you. The Chinese did a great job, well, still doing a great job, in identifying emotion and what it is attached to in the body based on clinical presentation. Let me share this with you. I sound like Medea. All right. Anger and frustration and resentment is found in the liver. Now, gall, right? Gall, you have the gall to do something, right? That's gallbladder. Now, remember, these are the main emotions. There's always a different emotion, like fear. It says about fear affects the kidneys. Fear affects the kidneys, and if the heart is weak, you're going to have some problems. And you can know that right? By looking at the tongue. We just say, excuse me. And you can see a crack down the center to the tip. And when you see that crack down the center to the tip, it means you may have a little weakness in that system, right? Now, I personally never, when I was in school, I did not have that crack down to the tip. So between, I don't know, I went through some stressful things after 2015, and I noticed in the last year or two, after a car accident, I have I pray the Lord restore it, right? But there's a crack in my tongue all the way to the tip. So remember, the tongue doesn't just stay that way it's going to stay. It changes. And so do the pulses. And so a lot of these emotions you can actually see in the pulses. I actually have a printout here that I'm going to carry in with me. And of course, we're always looking to recognize the root issue in patient cases, right? And so this is a great way to identify the different pulses associated with emotion, if that is a possibility for an etiology, which is how you got what you got. Now, a lot of times people, how they got what they got was 35 years ago, right? So that may take some time to tease through and get through those layers, right? But emotion is a very big deal. And there's some positive feedback that can be set up in your biochemical and neurological systems, as well as just your brain, right? Your brain triggers. You're just set up to do that. Great example of that is PTSD. But remember, they're not in charge of you. You can overcome this. Praise be the name of Jesus. Okay, so let's go to the different one. Joy. When we talk about joy, we're talking about overjoy, a negative emotion, right? So on the one hand, joy can be very healing if it's smooth and excitable, that kind of thing. Peace of mind and relax. Benefiting the nutritive and defensive chi. That's the stomach, right? Allowing your body and immune system to heal, right? Your gut immune system. That's that kind of joy. The other part of joy is when the joy continues and there's no balance. Remember, with every up, there has to be a down. So you kind of want to be in a balance, right? This can happen when someone lives in a continuous, mentally stimulated state in excessive excitement, right? And some of that is similar to overwork. No, I think everybody should work. I probably overwork some. Those of you that know me, and I just like to do it. And when I'm home, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I like to read and get in there and have some fun. But I also like spending time with my family, by the way. They are so wonderful. But when this continues and you don't take time to rest or balance, then Chinese medicine, it stirs up the minister fire, which overstimulates the mind and can lead to a larger heart, palpitations, overexcitability, insomnia, restlessness, talking a lot, and migraines, sudden laughter, even heart attack. So make sure you're getting that balance in your joy, okay? Pensiveness, which is, thoughtful. Thoughtful really taxes the spleen. The spleen is in charge of the yi mind, right? The spleen is in charge of people that are in school, and overworking, trying to do a good job. They're using that mind a lot, right? That depletes the spleen too. That's overthinking, right? So if you're obsessive with your thoughts and overthinking, then this can lead to deficient spleen, okay? Sadness and grief affecting the lungs. I do see this, and I've had to work through that myself. We lost my mom about a year and a half ago. Woo! It's a tough time. So I really understand how that works and how it can be long-lasting and even pathological. But you have to work through that and let that go. Unexpressed grief can also affect the kidney. So remember, grief and sadness affect the lungs. The lung have a relationship with the water element. The water element is the bladder and kidney. So that's going to affect that too. Now also, remember the lung also has a relationship with the large intestine. And that is to be discussed on a different day. So we talked about fear. And we talk about shock, right? Shock. Whew, something happens and it's shocking. That is going to affect both the kidneys and the heart. It's said to close the heart and make it smaller, okay? And so you just are operating out of this, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Right? And so that can lead to other issues, right? Including circulatory problems, right? A lot of these emotions really affect the neurological system, and that eventually can affect the circulatory system. Hatred. Now, hatred affects the heart and the liver. Hatred is similar to anger, but indicates a cold and calculating malice, right? That's not good. Anger is more spontaneous, I got so mad. Some people get so mad their blood pressure goes up. I hope that doesn't happen to you. That's a whole other topic. But anger can be very deleterious. Over time, this emotion will affect the heart and the liver, and over the years, if it turned inward, it can damage the person who hates, right? So hatred, unforgiveness, bitterness, those are terrible things to hold on to. And they can get a really big, thick root in, and they can just start affecting every organ. And I pray that you're able to get rid of that root. Curse the root. That's what Norval Hayes used to say, right? So hate can be felt in the body with chest pain, palpitations, headaches. So if you have headaches, maybe you might be hating somebody. Do you have insomnia? Are you having trouble with hatred? You'll see that overjoy also has trouble with hatred, right? And overjoy also has trouble with insomnia. And so does love. Now, when we talk about love, we're talking about obsession, narcissism, craziness. So, love affects the heart. All of that, those people have heart problems, right? Especially long term. So those, I pray you can allow the Holy Spirit to change you. Guilt. Guilt is associated with shame, blame. Some people feel guilt for things they've done that are wrong, right? There is right and there is wrong. However, sometimes that people have guilt that is not healthy, and they feel guilty about everything. If anything goes wrong, they feel guilty and responsible. That is something that can cause a problem. In Chinese medicine, they say guilt affects the heart and the kidneys. It causes qi to either stagnate or sink. And it causes stagnant qi in the chest, the epigastrium, and the abdomen. Now, to me, that means that I'm thinking of symptoms that they may have, right? Because of guilt they've had long term. And so those three things, right? Those three things. And there are a list of symptoms you can get from that, right? Discomfort in the chest, right? Pressure in the chest, abdominal pain, borborygmus, all kinds of digestive issues, red tip of the tongue, a vibrating pulse, eyes that look unstable and often flap shut while the person is talking, incontinence and dribbling, in the area, and bearing down feeling in the diaphragm, right? So the diaphragm just doesn't feel right. And the list goes on, right? But these are the things that we look for, especially when you're talking about a totality of a person. You have to take into consideration what has gone into creating this. It was Dr. Louise Edwards that told me it wasn't the straw that broke the camel, it was the load that it bare. So make sure that you are working on your load and pulling off all of those straws, right? Or boulders or steel pipes. Sometimes that can be really hard. And sometimes people need help. Because remember, a lot of times people just let these things go until they cause you issues on the inside. So remember, as we give you items in the clinic to help with your health, it may help you also deal with emotions associated with that organ system. Now remember, you may not have a blood work that says that you have a problem with this organ system, but the presentation of the person can tell you a lot and how to help them and with what they need to deal. Okay, so be aware, know that we can help, and if you have any questions, please give us a call or visit us online. We love to help. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Please give us a like and a follow and a share with your friends, relatives, or just somebody you think needs this. If you have an experience about emotions and how they have affected you negatively, and also if you've had a problem with emotions and how deliverance from that has helped you and what you did, we would love to hear it. So please comment in the section below. We appreciate you and we look forward to hearing from you. Again, I'm Dr. Kirby Thompson. Give us a shout, www.wildflowerwellnessllc.com. Thank you so much.